And record here. All right, I'm here with Jean Thompson on the morning of September 23rd, 2018. We're here in her Riverside room at Touchmark in Bend, Oregon. It's one of her favorite places to be. And interviewing is Zach Thompson. So, I'd like to get this conversation started just about the course of your life and what you've seen and anything else that might...
Good morning.
Yeah, so we don't even worry about the camera here, just talk to
all
me.
right.
So we'll start with a little intro. So what year were you born?
I was born in 1924, November 30th.
November 30th. So coming up here, 94. And where did you grow up?
In Excelsior, Minnesota.
And were you there for that was the most significant
I
place?
was there all through school till graduated and went down to Duke.
All right, great. So in your youth, do you have a earliest memory or a fond memory that sticks out?
Every summer, my brother and I were both sent to summer camp for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
And I did that for 10 years, I think. And it was marvelous.
Sounds marvelous. So is it just what you would imagine a summer camp would be like, with games and...
I had no idea what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
And it was just a marvelous experience.
That's great.
Made a lot of good friends.
Perfect.
One of my friends we were roommates in college.
Oh, wow. So lifelong friends then.
Right.
So about your relationship with your parents as a girl, how was that with your mother and father?
It was, they were pretty strict. My father had a marvelous sense of humor. And mother didn't.
So father's where you get your sense of humor from then, I guess.
Yes, both my brother and I lucked out.
Well, we're fortunate for that too, because we think it's passed down to us as well. So school as a girl, what were some of your favorite subjects and how did you enjoy that?
Let's see. In grade school, I don't think there were any. When I got to high school, Latin and French.
Okay.
My French teacher, there were only 4 of us in the class. And every Friday, she would put on French records. And we kept in touch with her. Went to her wedding. When Jack and I used to go to Arizona in the winter, we visited her.
Your teacher from high school?
Yep. Exchanged Christmas cards for years.
Oh, nice.
But
Wonderful.
then she passed away. So that was really, French was my favorite.
Yeah, I really...
Even though I never really learned how to speak it.
Yeah. It's a beautiful language, and I really enjoy the music too.
Right.
So, as a child, what were some of your favorite things to do for fun with friends?
We would always, after school, go to the drugstore. We would walk from school to the drugstore and listen to the Nickelodeon and drink Coke.
Oh, great.
And that is where, well, never mind. We'd ride bicycles. We also, one of my friends dated a boy that was the delivery guy for one of the grocery stores. So we would go to my house after school. I would call up the grocery store and ask for Cokes to be delivered. And so Rad would ride his bicycle to my house to deliver the Cokes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That sounds pretty
That
convenient.
was,
Sounds like Uber Eats.
No.
Did you have any fun hobbies by yourself?
No.
No. Very social butterfly. So did your friends have nicknames for you?
I was, one of them was Stinky,
Oh, no.
because my maiden name was Lumsden, so they made it into Lumstink. And it was either Stinky or Grace, because Grace was because I fell down a lot.
Perfect. So really flattering
Grace or
nicknames then.
Stinky. That's it.
That's great. So we touched on this yesterday, but any sort of allowance that you received as a kid?
I don't even remember.
Well, if you had some money, do you remember what you would spend it on in that time?
Cokes
Cokes. All right, perfect.
at the drugstore.
Simpler time. So moving on from childhood a little bit, and on to now, in what ways have you seen society most notably change since you were a girl? I know this is a broad question, but anything?
Yes. All the modern conveniences with dishwashers, washing machines, television, which we never had.
Yeah.
And now everything electronic.
Yeah.
That's the biggest change
It's a
that
lot.
I can see.
A lot faster pace these
Right.
days, it seems like. So, through the 20th century, there was a lot of social movements going on. Was there any social change or anything that you felt particularly drawn to?
No,
No? Just
I just went along.
stayed away? Yeah. Okay, good. So as a mother, do you have any favorite memories?
As a mother, favorite memories. Well, maybe one of them was when we left England and got our little motorhome and traveled through Europe with the three boys.
Oh, yeah.
And every night we would play some game, and we used M&Ms as our tokens. Then we would eat them all.
Betting game?
And yeah. I think that's one of my favorite memories.
Sounds...
But what I'm proudest of, we must have done something right, because now my three sons are such good friends.
Yeah. That's good.
So I'm, as I say, we must have done something right.
Mm-hmm. And some of
Very
my...
fortunate.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could pause
Forget
here.
it.
Okay.
I better answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh. No, never mind. Okay.
Well, I wanted to add on that by saying some of my fondest memories are with this side of the family.
It's Susan. I'm calling to find out if you are up to lunch tomorrow, if we come and get you, if you're... Anyway, find out what's going on with you. So if you have a minute, give me a buzz. Talk to you later. Bye.
It's no problem. We can edit it out later. But anyways, I'll just say that again in a sec. So yeah, I just wanted to add on that by saying that some of my fondest memories are with the family too, with all three brothers together and here with
Thank
you.
you.
It's been a great place to grow up and good company to have along the way. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'm proud of it.
It's a good accomplishment. Are there any world events that have had a significant impact on your life? switching it up here?
Well, World War II, when I went to college, there weren't many boys around.
Oh, yeah.
At Duke, there was a Navy program, I think, but aside from that, and the war, I used to be a heavy smoker. And I remember Lucky Strike Green has gone to war, and so the packages turned to white instead of green.
Oh, yeah?
We couldn't, buy nylons and minor things like that, but that, aside from that, I don't think there have been too many world events that affected me.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. That's convenient of living here. So, seeing as all the changes that have happened over your life, is there anything that gives you hope about how things are going to progress into the future from here?
No.
No.
I
Anything?
just hope it improves.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we're on a forward track right now, even with everything, all the little bumps along the way.
Well, I'll hope so.
Yeah.
For all of you.
Is there anything that worries you in particular?
Let's forget that.
Okay. How about younger generations? Is there something that gives you hope that you see in younger people that is inspiring to you?
Yes. They are a lot more interested in what's going on in the world, I think, than we ever were,
Mm-hmm.
and speaking out.
Okay.
So I have a lot of hope for the younger
That's
generation.
good. Yeah, that's something that
Yeah.
I'm really value as well. Anything that worries you about younger generations?
Yeah.
Same things?
They don't, the values that we had
Mm-hmm.
have changed.
Mm-hmm.
And that, that's okay.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
just valuable to hear your perspective on it.
But they've changed a lot, and hopefully I keep my mouth shut about it.
Anything in particular that you want to touch on?
No.
Okay.
Let's forget that.
All right. So looking back at your younger self, is there a piece of advice that you would have for your 20-year-old self?
I don't really think so.
That's good. Sometimes it's nice to...
No, I don't think so.
All right. So moving on, what are some of the most important lessons that you've learned in life?
Tell the truth. Be good to people. Willing to share.
Yeah.
Maybe there are more, but I can't think of them.
Yeah, that works. Those are all great. Did you have any person or people that were big influences on your life?
Yes. Both my mother and father
Mhm.
were. Let's see. I'd say just my parents.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I can't right now think of others. There probably were,
Mm-hmm.
but no.
All right, so I wanted to, you've been a lot of places traveling, and
Yes.
was wondering if you had any favorite places that you've traveled.
Yes. Interlaken, Switzerland. And I went there when I made a trip of Europe with a friend of mine. We were, what was that, 1949 maybe? And we went to Interlaken, Switzerland, and I always said when I got married I wanted to go there on my honeymoon. But when we got married, we didn't have enough money to go anywhere
Oh, really?
except drive back to Minnesota. But we did get to go there on our 25th wedding
Oh,
anniversary.
beautiful.
Went back to Interlaken.
Well, that was probably a better trip then than if you went with no
It was.
money.
We had a marvelous time.
It's beautiful.
Met a lot of young Americans backpacking,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of adopted them. And they claimed us as parents so they could get into the bars.
Oh,
with
yeah.
us. No, that was marvelous.
That's funny. I'm sure
That
it's
was it.
changed some since
Interlaken.
then. Beautiful. How about favorite places that you've lived?
Bend, Oregon.
Yeah, and that's where we are now.
Right.
You've been here for...
Since 1983. I have lived in this area longer than Minnesota or California.
Oh, wow.
I've lived here the longest, and I love it.
I do too. It's a great place to be. So, can you think of some of the happiest moments of your life, or moment or time period?
Probably when Jack retired and we moved to Sun River, because there, previously, I had friends, he had friends, we had some friends together in Sun River. They were our friends
Oh, perfect.
together,
Yeah.
and we didn't have the worries
Mm-hmm.
of the young boys growing
Yeah.
up. It was just us,
Yeah.
and they were 10 marvelous years.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Fortunately, he retired young,
Mm-hmm.
so we had those 10 good years
Yeah.
in Sun River.
That's great.
But my whole life has been a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Going so to the opposite of that, what were some of the saddest moments of your life, or the time period, or anything?
Probably the first one was when my father died.
Yeah.
I had just left in September to go to Duke. And one day in the mail, I got a letter from my mother in October that my father had gotten out of bed and his legs gave out and he fell. Doctor came to the house and said, I'm sending him to Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. And after I read that letter, 2 days later, a phone call came to Duke that my father had died.
Wow.
So in those days, we didn't fly. I took the train 2 days back to Minnesota. And that was probably, he was only 49,
Wow.
and it was the biggest shock.
Yeah, definitely.
With Jack, I had known
Mm-hmm.
for 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
that he was going to go. Another sad day, but my father was such a shock and so
Definitely.
young that was probably it.
I'm sure. Yeah. That train ride was probably.
Very hard.
Mm-hmm.
you
I can
know.
imagine. Do you have any tips on getting through a rough time?
keep busy.
Yeah.
Find something to do. Don't sit and mope.
Yeah. Just keep on keeping
Get
on.
out there.
Yeah.
Talk to your friends.
That's a good one. It's great.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, would you do anything differently if you could go back in time?
You know, I don't think I would. Fortunately, I only went to Duke 2 years, moved back to Minnesota because my brother was going into the service and I didn't want Mother to be alone. So I went to University of Minnesota, where if I hadn't gone there, I wouldn't have met the people I did, and moved to San Francisco later on.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it was fortunate I went back to Minnesota. And then my friends were all getting married, having children. It was very boring
In Minnesota?
in Minnesota. I was working.
And you were how old at this point?
Am I 25, 26? About, you know, mid-20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend at work, and we had a mutual friend who, anyway, knew this gal, her roommate, felt the same way I did, and they thought we should get together. And we did. And about 10 minutes after we had met, we said, should we go to Denver, San Francisco, or Seattle? And we both knew somebody in San Francisco. And so we said, let's go. So I went to Princeton, Minnesota to meet her family. She came and met my mother. And we left, arrived in San Francisco on, I think it was Valentine's Day in 1951. And we said, we're a gift to San Francisco.
Oh, yeah, here we are. That's great.
Great decision.
Yeah, that reminds me of some of the feelings I'm feeling right now.
There you go.
You needed more excitement in your life.
You're right. It was, And we both ended up marrying Thompsons.
Oh, wow.
And remained good friends all through our lives.
Excellent.
Yep.
So was it easy for you to make that move?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was ready.
Great. So maybe that could inspire me a little bit.
There you go.
I'll take that advice there. So, I guess transitioning, what advice would you have for young people to arrive at retirement age with little to no regrets?
Oh dear.
I know, it's a big one.
That is a big one. Try and find something you're really interested in. Move on. New experiences. Try them.
Excellent. Beautiful. All right, well, to finish up here, just want to ask if there's a piece of advice that stuck with you throughout the years.
Well, as I said, the golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
Do unto others as you would have them do to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that'll get you
That's
through.
it.
Yeah.
I live by that,
I
and
think-
I'll go by that.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Well, this was a great conversation. I'm so glad that we were able to
I
have
hope
this.
so.
Yeah. And possibly maybe have another one in the future. Is that a lot?
When I reach 100.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how your perspective has changed at that point.
Thank you, Zach.
All right.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you. All right. I'll turn her off now.
Oh, dear.
Say goodbye.
Bye. Love you.